Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are having as you know, we are having a special training tonight. We already had such a great turnout for our regular agent training call last night that it's pretty awesome to see how many just truly dedicated people are involved in this right now. This truly is taking on a life of its own, with just the sheer number of people that are jumping into this and rolling up their sleeves and getting going with everything. So tonight, as all of you know, we are going to go through and give you a very detailed training. Actually, we will not be. The CEO of the company that our prospecting app that is referred to as UProspector, the CEO of the company that created this tool for us, his name is Mr. Patrick Shaw. Tonight, you are going to get a in-detail training directly from Mr. Patrick Shaw. He is on the call with us right now. He is prepped and ready to go. You truly could not get a better training on this app than the training you will get directly from the CEO of the company, Mr. Patrick Shaw. So some of you met Mr. Shaw at the kickoff event. He is the one that went through and gave the initial unveiling training at the kickoff, but he has graciously agreed to jump on our call tonight to go through and give you a very detailed training on not just how the program works, not just how the app works, but what the purpose of the app is, what the app is created to do, and really how it can benefit you as an agent with United Financial Freedom. So without any further delay, we're going to go ahead and turn the time over to Mr. Patrick Shaw. Patrick, can you hear us?
Skylar, I sure can. I hope you can hear me. Am I here?
Absolutely, buddy. You have got you've got all the time. Turn over to you now.
All right, and you can see my screen as well.
We can.
All right.
Winners bridge the gap.
Fantastic. So, listen. First of all, I just want to congratulate all of you. I'm in a unique position to get to see a lot of companies all over the world, and I've spent 25 years myself in the network marketing space. And I got excited about what you guys are doing, and it took me back a long time. It took me back to when I bought my first home, and my life changed when I figured out how to get a tenant in there that covered my mortgage, and it freed me up to be able to become an entrepreneur. And that's what got me into the networking space. And I sat in a room full of people that were literally helping people, if they chose to move towards a place where they wouldn't have a mortgage, to get themselves out of the system that we have been taught for so long. I was trying to explain to my niece the other night, I think somewhat effectively, about that the system is not necessarily geared for them always to win, that the banks control a lot of things, and if you can figure out how to navigate some of this a little more effectively. And I've always taught that when I was building a business, and you guys are teaching it out of the gate. It's what you're doing every day. And so I just think you have a really exciting track in front of you. I think the timing is unbelievable for you. And ultimately, we're here to help. So I want to set the stage for about 5-6 minutes and give you the why behind the how. And then we're going to dive into the app itself. And then if you guys want to type in some questions in the chat window, I probably should have got some of our support team on the call just to answer those. But I'll try to go back to them, or maybe Skylar can speak up if there's specific questions, and he can act as host this evening. So here's the thing, right? In our business, right, of networking, of direct sales, is the fundamentals have not changed, and they never will change. The fundamentals are the business has got to be simple, duplicatable. It's all about leadership and your ability to to help people go to the next level, to hold them accountable. It's about increasing prospecting and follow-up. Right? That's a big part of our business is how many times does the story get told? However, we are in a weird space in that technology is changing things. And as I shared with everybody in Orlando, when I got started, it'll date me, Skylar, but when I got started, I had a VHS tape, a fax machine, and a phone, and a meeting to go to. And that was about it. It was very simple. It was hard to mess up. The danger today with all this technology is it's confusing a lot of people. So you've got, people like digital marketers that are using all these fancy tools, surveys, and social sharing platforms like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And some of you guys might be doing a little bit of this, and there's nothing wrong with that. Here's the beauty of what you're going to see tonight. We're not trying to change anything that you're doing, but we do want to allow you to use some of these tools, but in a duplicatable fashion. See, a digital marketer is marketing one person to thousands, and he can make all these tools to work together. Somebody in direct sales building a team in network marketing in UFinancial, they can't do that. Okay, you're going to have a hard time sharing the story and teaching part-time people to create financial freedom in UFinancial if you're busy trying to create all this stuff. So what we've done and what we're working on with Skylar, the team at UFinancial, is we're creating all the tools in collaboration with the company so that you can download the UFinancial app, and then you're off and running, focused on what? Focused on prospecting and follow-up. And then the company can focus on delivering better and better tools to you when they get the data back to say, hey, this survey is really working. This video is awesome. This is how the field is getting prospects to engage in this email campaign. You see all of this, and I'm going to show it to you tonight. It's extraordinary. It's all built into your platform because of the UFinancial team has put all this in place. Now, it's just the beginning. It's going to get better in 60 days, in 90 days, 120 days. But you're going to see right now how effective having all these tools right on your phone can be. Because this is the one device. I got a $100 bet that this device, if you're not watching on it right now, it's only 5 feet away from you. It's really close. You know where it is, and it's with you all the time. You don't leave the house without it, right? I think American Express used to have that commercial, you don't leave the home without it. Well, it's actually true when it comes to your phone. Okay. So that's what we're going to help you do. We're going to help you, give you a tool that really allows you to win. And I think there are going to be losers and winners in this space. We don't need to get into that. You guys have the tools to be winners in this space. You've got not only an incredible product, you've got a great story to tell, you've got a great compensation plan, and you've got all the tools at your fingertips. Now, there's one more thing I will share with you before we move over to the app. And I asked everybody in Orlando this past week to think about this, and I'll ask everybody listening tonight to think about this same thing. If you're with UFinancial, here's the reality. Your success, your personal success, is going to be dependent upon the number of times that you tell the UFinancial story. And your ability to build a large organization, guess what, is based on your ability to get the team to tell the story. Now, there's a book called The 4 Disciplines of Execution. Not everybody needs to read it, but if you're saying, look, I really want to build a large organization, I see this as an opportunity in the next 3, 4, 5 years, if I'm starting from scratch, to change my zip code, right? To change my financial stars, to help a lot of people get on a better, get more stable with their finances, right? And I've watched all your demo videos. I've been through all the content. I believe in what you're doing. I think it's one of the most important things. Is what more than 50% of divorces are finances. You help somebody get control of things. I heard a testimony that blew, anyway, I won't go down that road. Just excited about what you're doing. But the 4 disciplines says this. Number 1 is you should have a wildly important goal. Now, I think every one of you tonight probably has a wildly important goal. There's a reason you're here. There's something that you're after, whether that's more altruistic and helping people change their lives, or if it's more financial, it's to get out of debt yourself, it's to build a business, it's to get rid of a job. You've got a wildly important goal. And then the second discipline in the 4 disciplines, now this was written by Sean McCovey. Franklin Covey organization has applied it to 35,000 some organizations across the country, the world. And they said every organization's the same. They should have a wildly important goal and then act on the lead measure. Your lead measure is prospecting and follow-up. It's prospecting and follow-up. Something just changed on my screen. Can you still see everything? Are we good, Skylar? Oh, no, I see what happened. Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry, Patrick. I was muted. Yes, Patrick.
No worries. My screen went to sleep and it did something funky. I got worried. Okay. So it's the lead measure is prospecting and follow-up. And that is 95% of the business. I'm not saying there's not anything else out there. But I've seen some relatively average leaders who were great at prospecting and follow-up, and they were good at teaching it, build huge, massive businesses. Right? They may not have been particularly charismatic, and they may have had a lot of stuff going against them. But if they could prospect, if they could tell the UFinancial story, and you can teach your team to do that, you are going to crush it. It's that simple. So number 3 is to keep a compelling scorecard. What do I mean by that? Well, my sponsor 25 years ago said, Patrick, fax me your tracking sheet. And I had 10 names on a sheet of paper. We called it a tracking sheet. I would write down the prospect's name, their phone number, and what information I sent them. A VHS tape, did I call them? Did I put them on a 3-way call? Did I invite them to an event? I mean, there were only a few things I could do. And I said, I don't know what that is. And he introduced me. He showed me how it worked. And the next time I complained, he said, I said, hey, it's just not going as fast as I want, and this isn't happening, and, I'm not making the money I want. He said, well, fax me your tracking sheet. And I looked at the sheet, and I knew that it took 5 minutes to make an exposure, and I could see on the sheet I had about 10 names, and I told him I was working 20 hours a week, but I had 10 names on the sheet for the week. Now, 5 minutes in exposure, 10 names, that's 50 minutes. I knew he would ask me, Patrick, where are your other 19 hours? So I never faxed him the tracking sheet, as you can imagine, right? That was a scorecard, though. That's my point. What if I could show you how you could have your scorecard and your team's scorecard all right on the app? And you guys could post that scorecard to your team Facebook page or to each other or in a GroupMe app or whatever you do. You could post it, and you could start creating a cadence of accountability, the 4th discipline. You create an organization that talks about openly, transparently, authentically, is willing to say, hey, this is the activity I'm doing. These 4 disciplines. You should have a wildly important goal, act on the lead measure, prospecting and follow-up, have a scorecard, and then have a cadence of accountability. And I promise you tonight, you're going to have all of those. So, Skylar and the team there, if we could jump over and switch to my app, I'll show that, and we'll dive into the core piece of the training tonight.
Okay, switching over right now.
Thank you very much. All right. So you should be able to share. You should be able to see my screen now.
We can see you, buddy.
All right, perfect. Does it show the app large enough? Should I turn off my camera, or is it showing well enough?
On our end, it's showing really well. If anybody wants to enter a comment, let us know how it looks on your end. That would be great.
Okay, great. So here's the first thing to know, guys. Just go to your iOS store or your Android store, right? Your app Play Store. Just go there and search for the app RapidFunnel, RapidFunnel. Okay, and that's where you're going to download the UFinancial app. But you got to go to RapidFunnel first. And then as soon as you download the app, hit the open button. And the first question it will ask you is if you're a current or a new user. If you've never downloaded it, you're a new user. Click on New User, and it will ask for a group code. Now, I believe your group code is UFinancial. Is that right, Skylar?
That is correct.
All right, so it's just UFinancial, no spaces, lowercase. Now, there's probably a couple aliases in there that if you don't listen, it may let you get away with it anyway. But the right way would be all lowercase, UFinancial. And then it will ask for your name, your email address, your phone number. Use the information that you want your prospects to see, because we're going to post that information, personalize it on capture pages and surveys and different things. So you want to post that. If by chance you're using a Yahoo address, I would encourage you to use a different one. Not a big fan. Their spam algorithms are archaic. So I would encourage you to use some other email. All right? Not a big deal, and you can always change it later. So that's it. You'll be able to download the app, and you'll be able to start playing around on your own phone with the things that I'm showing you. But when you download the app, this is what you're going to see, what I'm showing on my phone right now. Now, this is the home screen, and you can navigate around here. You can click on any one of these buttons is active. Contacts, hot prospects, resources, campaigns. So as an example, if I click on campaigns, I will see the different campaigns that are available, and then I can click on that campaign, and I can also see what emails are available within that campaign. Now, there's a little bit of latency here, so I'm moving quickly on my app, but it's displaying, it's transitioning slowly on GoToMeeting, so really slowly. I'm not sure why. We'll see here. See what I've got the campaigns. Let's see. Come on. Okay, there we go. So it shows the campaigns, and then it shows when I click on it again, it's going to show all the different campaigns that are available. So you can read the emails that go out in the campaign. But let me jump back to the home screen. I'm going to have to move a little slower and just to deal with this the latency issue. We'll see if maybe it speeds up for me. So I'm back on the home screen. I'll just tell you, every one of these buttons is active. So if I want to click stats, I can see what the statistics are of my prospects. Now, here's what's really important before we dive into how you're going to make an exposure. I want you to look at the numbers on the home screen here. Right? Now, this number in the top left-hand corner, you can see it says 6. This tells you how many unique exposures have been made. So if I go out and I put a unique prospect in the app, name, phone number, email, they're completely unique, and I send them information, that counts as 1. So in this case, there were 6 people, unique prospects, that were all sent information. And the engaged number below shows how many of those prospects actually looked at information that I sent, whether that was a survey, an email campaign, a capture page. It doesn't matter what I sent them. Did they view that information? Now, obviously, this is important. I can see total lifetime, I can see this month, and I can see this week, right? So this month was 6 and 6 engaged, and that's 100%, right? This week was 0 and 0 engaged. Now, what if I came to you and you sponsored me into UFinancial, and I told you how hard I'm working, and you said, hey, no worries, I believe it. Listen, we're going to help get you there. I know you can do it. And you talked to me about my wildly important goal, and then you asked me to take a look at you said, hey, let me take a look at your app. And what if it were the 30th of the month, and this month I had made 0 exposures? Okay? What if I had made 0 exposures? Let me see if I can mute. Maybe that'll speed it up here. If I had made 0 exposures and it was the 30th of the month, would you say to me, hey, we got to fix that number just a little bit, right? You'd encourage me, but we'd have to fix that number. And what if I came to you and I had 30 exposures, so I averaged 1 person every day, but I had 0 engagement? What would that tell you? It would tell you that I'm talking to a fair number of people, not a ton. I mean, 1 a day. If I told my sponsor I was working 10 hours a week, 5 minutes a day, 1 exposure a day, 7 days a week, that's 35 minutes. I'm putting in 10 hours a week. Where did the other 9 hours and a half go? Right? Now, we can discuss that, but at least 1 a day, I tell you what, that's more than what average person is doing. So if I did 1 a day, but nobody engaged, that tells you that I'm not very good. Whatever I'm saying is not building rapport. People don't like me, trust me, or know me, and that's part of our job, is to teach people how to make a good exposure. So I don't want to spend too long here, but I want you to understand these numbers are really, really important. Now, if you got any questions, type them in the chat window, but let's go to making an actual exposure. So once you've downloaded the apps, and if you have any question about downloading the app, now I should have mentioned this, there is a free version. And UFinancial has spent a lot of money to make sure that everybody can download the app, that you have a platform that every single person can download. So if you have a brand new recruit, you may not want to feel like you're nickel and diming them. You don't want to feel like, hey, you just got started, you just spent this money. Maybe you don't want to spend $10, okay? Even though that's incredibly small. Well, you can encourage them just to download the free version of the app. Okay, as simple as that. And that's something simple that they can do. Now, if they want to upgrade, they can spend the $10 a month. It's always month to month. There's no contract. They can cancel from right within the app if they want to. But they can spend that $10, and they're going to get a lot more resources, and they're going to get some features that I'll show you tonight that are incredibly valuable. But my point is, it gives you an option. There's also an option if you just say, hey, I get it. I've seen this presentation. I'm ready to run, or I know somebody else that's using it. You can pay for the year in advance and get a discount. So that's your option, okay, when you go through the download process. But now let's go to making an exposure. And if there's any questions as we go through, Skylar, feel free to interrupt me, and I can answer those as we go or what have you.
Sounds good.
So now we're on the app, and we want to do the most important thing, which is what? Make an exposure. Share the UFinancial story. So I go to the app, and I want to hit the plus button. Now, I will tell you, when you guys download the app, there is a wizard. And because you're on this training tonight, you can just skip the wizard. Down in the bottom right-hand corner, you can opt out of the wizard. But the wizard, especially when you're sitting with a new recruit, the wizard, as a matter of fact, I'll show it to you. If I hit the plus button, right there, there's a wizard in the top right-hand corner. And if I click on this wizard, this is what the brand new person is going to see. Now, what's the point here? Well, we're trying to get them to make some exposures. So I go to the wizard and I hit the import button in the top right-hand corner. I click import, and it's going to go to multiple contacts. Well, what do I do next? Well, I click on the only button I can is multiple contacts or exit wizard. In this case, my sponsor is sitting right beside me. And let's say that's Skylar. And he said, hey, Patrick, we got this, man. We're going to get after it. He's talked to me about my goal. And now he just says, click multiple contacts. I'm like, okay, I'm following his lead. And he says, okay, on the next screen, we're going to pick 5 people from your contact list that you've got in your phone's database. So we click Get Started. I click the Get Started button, And now the system has literally, it's tapped into my phone's database. So we go through scrolling through some people, and Skylar says, well, tell me about Bart here. And I'm like, oh, I know Bart, he's a neighbor and one thing or another. And he goes, oh, that'd be great. Okay, well, let's send Bart something. And then we scroll down here and we find Becca and Becky, and then I hit import. And what does the system say? No, pick 2 more contacts. Because we're trying to get them in. Oh, okay, I got to pick 2 more. I got to actually follow the rules. And I pick those people and I click import. Now the system is going to import those contacts right into my CRM. And now I'm going to click one of the contacts below, because that's what it says. Select a contact below. All right, so I'm going to click one of these contacts. I'm going to click Joan here. And now it says, okay, let's send a resource. But now I'm going to send a resource, and it's going to take me to resources, and I'm going to click on potential client. Now listen, if you're sitting beside the new recruit, this is good to do together. Walk them through it. And one thing you're going to hear us iterate over and over is this does not take away what we have to do in network marketing. One of the first screens I showed you is the fundamentals haven't changed. This is a relationship business. You cannot, I built this in networking. This was built by somebody who's earned more millions than I can count in the space you're in right now, and you cannot circumvent the relationship. So when you get somebody started, meet with them on a Zoom, sit down with them at Starbucks, have them download the app together if at all possible, right? And so it walks me through and says, okay, what are we going to do first? Well, we're going to pique interest. We're going to send them some. What are we going to send them? Oh, pre-written text right here at the top, pique interest. I'm going to send this pre-written text, right? Choose which you'd like to send the resource. Is that email, text, or social? Which one? And I say, oh, well, I think I'll send it via text, right? And I click the text button, and it pulls up this person, and it wants to send them a text. Now, I'm going to stop here because I don't actually know who this person is. But you get how the wizard works, okay? They're going to be like, who are you and why are you sending me this? And by the way, that is not what you ever want to do, okay? I'm assuming you actually know the person, right? And they probably don't know me in this case, but I'm going to exit wizard. I want to see if you guys have any questions. You see how the wizard works. Now, that wizard only comes up for a brand new person. And when they exit the wizard, they'll never see it again unless they hit the plus person button down at the bottom, and then they click wizard. Now you say, well, why would I ever want to hit it later? Well, what if you invite 5 or 6 people over to your home that are all in UFinancial? And you say, guys, how many exposures have we all made? And you count them all up because you can see it right on the home screen, right? And you count it all up and you say, well, the 10 of us here tonight have made a total of 25 exposures this month. We're going to make 50 exposures in the next 5 minutes. You have everybody open their app. They all hit. That was Kurt. I should have let him know we were on the call. But they all open the app. Hey, Skylar, if you send Kurt the link real quick so he has it. He might want to join us.
Okay, I'll shoot it over to him.
Thank you. So you have everybody click that wizard, and now and then they go into the wizard, and then you as a leader, you walk those 10 people through how to make 5 exposures. Now, I don't know if I get excited about this because I'm in 5 or 10 minutes, you could get 10 people to make 50 exposures. During this call tonight, if you just follow this outline, you can make maybe more exposures than you made all week. So let's talk about that. Now, I'm going to go back to the home screen. You've exited the wizard. Hopefully, you've downloaded the app and everything. There is a support team that's there to help you. And if you want to know, all you got to do is click the More button in the bottom right-hand corner, right? And you can click the Support button right here, right? and you can create a ticket. And we're going to have chat on the app, and I think within the next month, so you can participate in live chat support right from the app, okay? But anyway, let me go back to the main page of the app, and you say, okay, I'm out at the kids' soccer game, and I bump into somebody. I'm going to hit the plus button right here. And this screen's going to come up, and I can add a prospect right here. Now I'm going to add a fake prospect real quick, and we'll just call him Bob the prospect. That would be a weird last name. And then I'm going to give him a phone number, and I'm going to give him an email address. Bob the Pro. Now this is it won't actually go anywhere, but it's a real email address. Now, why do I have to put in a real email address? Because when you put an email in, we're going to ping that email to verify it's accurate for your entire team. And the reason we do that is we knew that 30% of the people were fat-fingering email addresses, and they were bouncing, right? And then Google sees that as an example, and they start not delivering your emails for you. So that's a bad thing, right? So I put the name and information in, and then I can add some notes here. So let's see, I want to add some notes. Bob is a great guy. He has 3 kids. He's a painter. He's looking for some extra income. I think I should lead with the product. And then I want to rate Bob, okay? And so I click this plus button right here, because I might have handed my phone to Bob and had Bob put his information in, but I didn't want Bob to see when I did that I was going to rate him as a prospect. Now you say, well, how should I rate somebody as a prospect? Well, are they money motivated? Do they have contacts and credibility? You can come up with your own rating system, but we've all bumped into people and we go, man, they would be incredible. Well, that's a 5-star prospect. And you go, I just don't know if I'd even want to work with that person. That might be a 1-star prospect, okay? But I rate them 5 stars. Now, I can also label the prospect right here. Now, how does label work? Well, you can decide things like, are they a veteran or are they a mompreneur? Or you bump into somebody and you're doing a lot of financial fairs or something or some kind of job fair. And you say, well, I want to create a new category and I want to call it job fair, right? So I call it job fair. I hit the plus button and then I apply it, and that prospect got put into that label. Now, why is this beneficial? Well, one is you want to be able to look all your prospects up by that particular category, but maybe you want to email all of them as well. Well, from the dashboard, you can go to your computer dashboard. You can log in with the same username that you created for the app, and once you put 25 people into an email campaign, and we've proven that you're not spamming people, that you're not just blindly putting in contacts, and your opt-in ratio is decent, like over 30%, which should be no problem when you put a prospect in, you should always have an opt-in ratio of 30%. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. If I save this right now, bear with this thought. It's going to ask me, do I want to put them in an email campaign? And remember, I wanted to put them in for the product, which is potential client. So that's the email campaign I'm going to put them into. Now, if I just met them, I'm going to say to that prospect, I'm going to say, hey, listen, I'm going to send you, would you mind if I sent you a little bit of email information? I'll stay in touch with you and about the information we talked about. And they say yes. I'd even go, well, hey, listen, well, check your email right now. I just sent you that email. Click on it and make sure I got it correct. Right? So that's how you're going to get a 60, 70, 80, 90% opt-in rate on email. You're actually going to engage with them. Now, you may decide, you know what, I don't want to put people in email first. I want to wait a week or two to see if I can first text or send them some information via social media and see if I can get them started without putting them in the email campaign, and then put them in the email campaign if I can't get them off the fence. Now, this is stuff that you guys need to work on. You need to figure out and coach your team and talk to them about ways. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say none right now. I'm not going to put them in a campaign. I'm going to say not yet. Do I want to schedule a reminder? Yes. I'm going to schedule this for tomorrow because that's when I promised to follow up at 12:30. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to save. And then that's going to go into my Google Calendar or my Apple Calendar. And now I've got Bob the prospect in my app, okay? And he's a 5-star prospect, and he has a score of 30. So I'm going to click on the prospect, and I'll change my mind, and I'm going to make him a 4-star prospect, and his score is going to drop to 29. You guys with me? So if I change the star rating, it drops the score. Now, this is what's crazy. Is that's only 25% of the score. 75% of the score is what the prospect, Bob in this case, actually does. Does he watch a video? Does he click on a link? Is he looking at information? So I'm going to go to Bob, and I'm going to hit send a resource. And I'm going to send potential client. I'm going to send peak interest. And then I'm going to send them a pre-written text. And I'm going to click on text here. And this should have actually, I meant to get that fixed before. This should have actually said Bob. Automatically, it should have put in Bob. Expanding my business, doing a little market research. If I sent you a 30-second video survey, would you take it? Now, because it didn't put in Bob's name, right? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I messed that up. I meant to just go to the top and put Bob's name in, but I did it incorrectly. So I'm going to go back one, and I'm going to send it via text again. There we go. Now I could go up here, and I can adjust it if I want to, and I can put Bob in here, expanding my business, and I send this to Bob. Now I put my own email in here so I would get it. And Bob turns around, and he says, well, sure, I'd be willing to take a survey. So now what do? Well, I go right back to the contact screen where Bob is. I click on send a resource again. I click on the red send a resource button from the contact screen right here. I've sent them the text. Now I want to send them a survey. I go to peak interest. And here's a client survey. You guys follow me? Now, I love this approach. I think this is very simple. I think this is something you can teach every single person to do. So I go ahead and I text this to Bob. Now what I want you guys to know is understand this. Please, text is a funny thing. Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint. Sometimes they decide not to send your text, even though it looks like it's sent. And people won't get it. Why? Because spammers are starting to use masked text messages using our text numbers, and they're spamming people. And so Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, AT&T, all of them are trying to protect you. And it's like when email first started having spam filters and it blocked everything. Now they're really good at it. You are going to end up having some text messages that get blocked. Just know this. It's about 10 or 15%, depending on who the carrier is and who you're sending to, and do you have communication with them before. I rarely ever have a problem. I'm on Verizon, but I know people that do. So just be aware of that. The alternative is I can email it, and it will pretty much always go to them. And I can use social media, WhatsApp, direct message on Facebook. That's always going to go through. So you have options, but just be aware that can happen, okay? So it's not a function of something we're doing, but we're doing our best to make sure you don't even run into it. But anyway, so I send this to Bob. Bob gets it. It says, Bob, I'm expanding my business. I'm doing some market research. If I sent you a 1-minute survey, would you take it? Now you see Bob automatically came up in here. Bob gets this. Bob clicks on the client survey. He says, sure. He said he would take it. You checked with him first. Now he takes it. And check out this survey. I love this, right? Do you feel the quality of your life would improve if you no longer had to make monthly payments towards your debt? Well, yeah, that would help my quality of life. At the rate you're going, do you feel it possible for you to pay down all your debt in as little as 5 years? No. If you own a home, how many years are left until you pay off your mortgage? Hey, honey, how many years left on my mortgage? And this is what goes on. And they go, oh, man, I got about 15 years left. Approximately how much non-mortgage debt do you have? And that's 20 grand. And would you like to know how you could eliminate your debt without a change to your current budget? I don't know how that's possible, but okay, yeah. Now, Bob fills this out, and he hits submit. His information's auto-populated in there, right, which actually we have his info, but we're going to remove it, so all Bob has to do is hit submit. He doesn't even feel like he's passing along information because the truth is I already have all this information. I don't need it, right? But anyway, I'll advance that in a minute. But now Bob hits submit. Now, this is where the UFinancial team has done such an awesome job. Now, check this out. The prospect clicks submit, right? And then it says, thanks. Based on your answers, it appears that we may be able to help you eliminate all of your debt. Now, this is where digital works hand in hand with your following up. Don't watch this and go, oh, man, this is all done for me. I don't even have to do anything anymore. I just got to drop them in the system. This is going to augment what you're already doing. And some of you are going to get frustrated with your team because they're going to make a bunch of exposures and they're not going to follow up. And you're literally going to be, well, I think the technology, it's causing people to hide. No, you're just going to see how many people don't actually follow up. So what it should do is increase your follow-up, okay? But you've got to be a champion. You've got to be a good coach. So they go through this process. Now, do you realize they're going to your personalized hub site with UFinancial? They're not going anywhere generically here. They're going to your site so that they can make decisions with you. And here's the crazy part. If I back out of this and I go back to the contact, right? Let's see. I go back to, where was I? There we go. I go back to the contact. I go, and Bob's here, and I click on Bob, and now I've been clicking on links as if I'm Bob, right? Because I sent them to myself and I clicked on them. If I go to the activity log, I can see everything that has happened with Bob. Everything I sent Bob, what Bob has clicked on. I know how many minutes of the video Bob watched. If I go to the notes section, I can see how Bob answered the survey questions. So now I call Bob up, or I text Bob and I say, hey, Bob, I'm running today, but I'd love to catch up with you tomorrow. Now, I kind of like that approach personally because sometimes Bob doesn't answer the phone. He's busy, he's tied up, or I'm like, hey, Bob, can we talk right now? Sometimes I'm like, look, I'm going to fill my pipeline for, hey, Bob, I'm running right now, but can we touch base later tonight or tomorrow? I want people to know I'm busy. I got things going on. I'm not manipulating. I am busy, and so I'm just scheduling. I'm filling my calendar. And so I text Bob, and I say, hey, Bob. Now, when I call Bob back, I'm looking at how he answered the questions, and I see that he's got $15,000 in debt. I don't call Bob and go, hey, Bob, man, that sucks. I only had $5,000. That's terrible. Right? I go, Bob, I can relate. I had more debt when I started, and that's why I sent you this information. I literally found a way. You remember the last question in the survey? I literally found a way not to change my monthly expenditure and pay down my debt 3 years faster than I would have, right? I saved in interest payments on my mortgage more than $25,000. And that's what I wanted to hook up with you about. Can we catch coffee this week? Or I want to invite Bob to a presentation, or I want to invite him to a live event or a recorded presentation, right? So what do? I turn around, I go back. Bob says, yeah, I can attend a webinar on Thursday night. I go, great, Bob, here's what I'm going to do. I go back to Bob. I click event invite right here. I go to the calendar of events. Now it says, what does it say? The events calendar works best when you filled out your address information in your profile. So it's going to want you to do that. Now I'm just on a demo app, but I would go down to the more button in the bottom right-hand corner and fill out my profile. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to skip for now. I'm going to go to the calendar. Now you guys don't have anything here yet, but you will. You guys will start having some recorded regular events. And you'll be able to click on that event, and you'll be able to literally send Bob an invite, and it'll say, Bob, Patrick's invited you to this webinar on Thursday night. Can you make it? Well, Bob just told me he could make it because I'm engaging. I'm not relying on technology and blindly sending invitations. Bob just said yes, and I just sent him an invitation. He got it via text. He says yes. I get a push notification to see that Bob said yes. Isn't that incredible? I know Bob just clicked on it. Bob sends the invite goes to his Google Calendar to remind him. I schedule a reminder immediately in my app 5 minutes before that webinar, so I get a push notification that tells me I need to call Bob or text Bob right now and remind him about the webinar. Right? This is what we call authentic sharing technology. It's technology built for peer-to-peer models, peer-to-peer sharing organizations that rely on personality, on relationship, and on authenticity. Now, Skylar, I've covered a lot of ground here. There's all kind of different places we could go, but I think it's best at this point if I open it to any comments you have, we open it to any questions that are out there, and we can spend the rest of the time doing that or kind of wherever you want to go, my friend.
Okay, well, Patrick, thank you so much. You did an absolutely fantastic job on this training. And I will say, as of right now, we are pretty darn close to the capacity of GoToWebinar right now with the number of people that we have in attendance.
That's awesome.
So this is fantastic. Nobody should have been kicked off the call because we haven't quite hit capacity, but we're pretty darn close. So there are a lot of questions that are coming in, a lot of people excited, tons of people giving excited feedback, people that have already used the app and are experiencing success with it already. But there are quite a few questions from people.
I think I can open that too. I think I can in the chat here. And
okay, so we're going to go ahead and give you access to the questions. Okay, so Patrick, we're going to go ahead and switch back to your computer version, your computer login version.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, good. Oh, fantastic.
And then if you want to click on the questions option, once that gets turned over to you, you'll be able to start seeing some of these questions. I have been answering some of them, but frankly, there are so many people on this call right now that I have not been able to get to a fraction of them.
Okay, I think I can move pretty fast here. If I can just expand this darn dashboard. I'm trying to blow it up so I can see. Is there a way to do that, guys, to blow up this chat screen?
Yes. Do you have the questions window open?
I do, and I can see them, but they're really small down there.
Okay, so you can just put your cursor on one of the corners of the questions window, and you can drag it out to expand it.
Okay, awesome. I think I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. All right, now we're in business. All right, so let me see if I can fly through some of these. Here we go. I don't think well, whatever. It's all good. Will it be, let's start at, we could shrink his camera, UFinancial, just the letter U, financial, just like UFinancial to log in. Does the RapidFunnel app have the UFF logo or another logo? No, when you go to RapidFunnel, you'll just see RapidFunnel in the store, and that'll show on your app. But everything else at that point is your branding, your logos when you open the app. Free version only shows resources 7, campaign 0. So that is part of the difference, okay? So that everybody has a free version. There are resources in there to help a brand new person get started, but I don't believe the surveys are in there, and I don't believe the campaigns are in there. Now, UFinancial has spent the money, and then on the $10, so that you know that's going to go towards marketing, resources, other tools. So UFinancial, Skylar, the team can continue to really grow out the platform. There are so many things we can do on that front. So some of those, if you're seeing a difference, that's the difference between the free and the premium version, okay? Is it in the Google store? Yep. In the Android, just where you would download any other app from. It's in the Google store, and it's in the Apple Play Store. The billing is, if you do the 99, I think that's what it is for the year, though. That covers the whole year, so you're getting somewhere around a 15 or 20% discount, and that gives you the premium version for the year.
Right. If you want to do month to month for the premium version, it's $9.99, or like Patrick was just saying, if you want to get a discount, you can go ahead and pay on an annual basis, and you get about a 20% discount off the total annual cost. So,
yeah. And I think, unless I'm missing something, I think I got most of them there on the question front. Am I missing it?
So I don't want to cut you short there, but there are probably about 150 questions.
I don't know what I'm doing.
There's no way that we'll be able to answer them all with tonight's time frame, but
yeah, you see,
we definitely will follow up.
If you see any organizers to panelists, maybe that's what I did wrong. Well, if you see any there that jump out at you, that I'm clearly not seeing them all. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Okay, so question here. Can we see the resources, i.e. surveys, in advance to sending them? The answer is yes. Patrick, would you mind going through and explaining how they can go through and see those resources before they send them?
Absolutely, and that's true of everything on the app, guys. So if you just go to the home, screen and tap on resources, and then the button to the right when you open resources is for you to view them, because often you'll be sitting there trying to decide, well, what do I want to see?
Patrick?
Yep.
Can you show what you're talking about?
Sure. Give me the control again on the app. I don't have that right now.
You'll have to switch back to the app screen.
And I'll show this here in 1 second, and then you'll be able to click on the resources. It's the same thing for the campaign. So you want to put somebody into a campaign, and I hope everybody caught that. So what I like to do is I like to send some resources and follow up personally with the prospect by sending content via text, by my own email in my app, or by social media. But if I can't move them off the fence within a week or two, then I ask for their permission to stay in touch, and I put them into an email campaign. Now, the reason I like email campaigns is because every 30, 45 days, they're going to get an email personally from me. If they hit reply, it comes directly back to my personal email, but it's being sent from our system. A lot of people, they're the right people. They have a mortgage. They need to cut down. They should cut down on the interest that they're going to pay, but it's just not the right time. You know, they're busy, their job, work, kids, And then 3 or 4 months later, that email hits them. They start watching videos in the emails that you sent, and you get notified in the app that they just became a hot prospect. So are you seeing me in there, guys, so I can share it?
Yes, the controls are turned over to you. You should have that ability now.
I do not. It's not popping up on the app for me. Oh, I probably went to the wrong place. Sorry, guys. Hold on.
Okay.
I see what I did wrong. That was me. I was waiting on you.
No worries.
All right. So here we go. So you can see right on the app, if I want to see what resources I'm sending, oh man, I didn't even talk about leaderboard, and I got to talk about that for a second. So if I want to click on resources right there, you guys see the resource button. I click on it. Here's all my resources. So let's go down to like follow-up tools.
Now, Patrick, if you could, I'm sorry. Real quick, the version of the app that Patrick is showing right now is the premium version, just so that everybody knows that. Sorry, right. Patrick.
Nope, no, that's good because some of you, and look, guys, play with the free version. We're all about value. That's all it is. If we create enough value, you go, hey, listen, I really want the upgrade. So we're not trying to take anything away. We want to provide a free value. There's a lot of value there. We're providing a lot of tools in the free version you'll find beneficial. We'll have coaching in there as well, but I am showing the premium version. So if I go to peak interest, I go to present, I go to follow up, how it works. I've watched that video. That's a great video, but I want to see it real quick. I just hit the play button, and that video is going to come up, and you're going to see that video has my personal information, right? And my personal information is, I call myself Joe Funnel. but my personal information, my picture can be there. So when the prospect fills out this form, it's coming directly to me. So you've got literally tens of thousands of dollars worth of content and creative that are all personalized to you. It makes you look very professional. Even though you're brand new, it makes you look really professional. So you can see exactly what that video is. You can play it. It's super fast.
The interest on their mortgages and other debts without even knowing it.
All the screens are mobile friendly, but just click the button to the right. You can see what the PDFs are, the videos are, and all the content are just by expanding those screen buttons, okay? If you want to send the app to somebody else on your team, just click Get the App button, click on it, and then you can turn around and send it to that person, whoever that may be, so they can download the app as well. If I want to see what campaigns are in the email, I can do that right from my phone as well. So I just go to the home screen, I click on campaigns, and I want to read the independent agent campaign. So I click on independent agent campaign, and now I literally can see every subject line of every email. I can click on day number 7, and I can see what the whole email says, right? If you catch anything we've proofed the grammar, all that kind of stuff. Skylar's worked really hard on these, but they'll get better, right? If there's something there, hey, you say, I don't like it, well, let your team know, and we're going to get better at this all the time. We're going to see what the open rates are of the videos in the campaign. We're going to look at the subject line and see how many people opened that email, how many people viewed the video, where did they drop on the video, and we're going to start getting rid of the stuff that doesn't work and keep the stuff that does. But you can see it all right there from your app. Let me scroll right down here to the bottom real quick. If we go to the home screen and we look at the ongoing contest and promos, if I click on that right now, here is the leaderboard for a brand new contest. Now, it doesn't start until the 1st. This contest starts on November 1st. It's called the Mover Shaker Contest. The top 20 people with the most engagements get a high-end Swiss brand UFinancial branded backpack and receive the top 20 Mover Shaker Award. Contest details are right there. I can click on them, and they can be viewed. And don't wait until the 1st, because here's how rewards work. It's a unique exposure who you sent information to and they engaged. But if you fill the pipeline right now, they may not start engaging with you until the 3rd, 4th, or 5th of the month, but you filled the pipeline immediately. Now, obviously, you're building a business, and that's the primary focus. You should be in activity mode every single day. But fill the pipeline and then create a contest within a contest. So go to your team and say, hey, guys, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy everybody breakfast on next Thursday who stays in the top 20. Just do something fun. And you say, well, I don't have money to buy everybody breakfast. All right. Then recognize them on your team call. Then just anything. Make it fun. Build your own contest within the company team contest. That brag button in the top right-hand corner. So when the leaderboard starts showing up, right, the people that have been prospecting the next 2 or 3 days, they're going to immediately show up on the top of the leaderboard. And I promise you this, some of you are going to get super comfortable. You're going to be making exposures like you've never made them before. And there are going to be numbers on this leaderboard that shock some of you. And they're going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 times higher than any number of exposures you've ever made in a month. And then you're going to take that leaderboard and you're going to hit the brag button and you're going to turn around and you're going to go to your team Facebook page and you're going to post it. I just took a screenshot by hitting brag. It took a screenshot, and now I'm going to go post it to my team Facebook page with a note that says, hey, I'm running for the stars. I'm already at 25 exposures, or maybe it's at 0, and you're like, I'm not on the leaderboard right now. You can see, but I will be by tomorrow, right? Make a public declaration. It's a powerful thing if you intend on backing it up. Okay. What else do we have? Next question.
Okay. So here's just a quick question, Patrick. We literally have enough questions to keep you busy probably for at least the next hour and a half. And so there's no way that that's going to happen tonight. But with GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, we do have the ability to go through and download these questions. And some of these questions, I'll be honest, some of these questions I know the answers to. I've been answering as quickly as I possibly can. Some of these questions are going to be more in your territory. If we get a copy of the questions to you, can you or one of your qualified team members go through and get us a response to these questions that we can then go through and get sent out to our field agents?
I love that idea. It's fantastic. I'll get them over to the support team. They'll get them all answered, and we'll get them back to you.
Okay, fantastic. Well, hopefully everybody on the call just heard that. Please know that your questions are not going to go unanswered. There's just so many of them on the call tonight. We literally have got probably one of the highest attendance rates out of all webinars that we have ever had on this call. So that's super exciting. Like I said before, we're almost to capacity of GoToMeeting to be able to hold the number of calls coming in. But we will get with Patrick and his team and make sure that these questions get an answer, and then we'll get them out to the entire field. And Patrick, you know, if it's all right, I'd like to just let people know that as time goes on, we will, as needed, have some additional training sessions with you or one of your team members. Am I correct in that understanding?
Yeah, absolutely. Anson heads up the Grow team, does an unbelievable job. So we'll get him on the next call with you guys, and I think you'll find that incredibly beneficial, and for sure. And we'll stay plugged in with you all the way through.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, again, yes, we will go through and get an FAQ, frequently asked questions chart put together for this that will get disseminated out to the field. We'll make sure we get it in the agent back office and get it emailed out to you as well. And other than that, Patrick, listen, everybody on this call, Patrick has got a very important engagement tonight, and he was very gracious to be able to spend this much time with us on our call tonight. So if we could, we'd just like to give him a great big sincere thanks for being with us. And, oh, I'm sorry, there's one last question that's very prominent. If we could just ask it really quick.
Yeah, no
worries. A lot of people, and I'm going to let them get it right from the horse's mouth, no insult. A lot of people are asking, how do I get the premium version? How do I upgrade from the free version to the premium version? I know the answer, but I'm going to let them hear that straight from you, Patrick.
I hope that I don't know this, but I hope that when you downloaded the app and you chose the upgrade button, that before you paid, it gave you an option. You could pay for the year in advance, or you could just pay for the month. If you paid for the month, I honestly don't know there's a way for you to switch, but it should happen right there at the gate, out of the gate, and give you that option. And then I will add it to the answers because I don't know the answer, but there's probably some way to upgrade if you want to at any time, but I'll get that answer for you. I don't know, Skylar.
Okay, so if they signed up for the free version and they want to upgrade, then
they can just hit, there should just be an upgrade button on the app, or go to the more button in the bottom right-hand corner, go to settings, and see if you can find it under settings where they can upgrade. But I would think the upgrade button would always be right there on the home screen, but let me know if it's not there. I would like to.
Okay, so the free app does have a button right below the UFinancial banner. So just so that everybody knows, if you have the free version, it does have the upgrade option right below the UFinancial banner. Okay, well everyone, thank you so much again for joining us. We are seeing just absolutely explosive growth, and that is not convention talk, that is reality. And again, Patrick, thank you so much for the gift of your time this night. And we know you have some super important things to get to, so we'll go ahead and let you go. But we'll go ahead and get the call sent off to everybody. And again, thank you so much for joining us. We are out of time for this call. So Patrick, everybody on the call, please have a fantastic night, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.